What's going on? It's Wednesday.
Hello and welcome back to another video. Today's Wednesday, so this is Waffle on a Wednesday, where I answer your questions to the best of my ability. And for those of you that are new here, my name's Mel and I live full-time in this Mercedes Sprinter camper van. And occasionally I like to go and do a bit of treasure hunting. So if you've got any questions for me, then please do leave them in the comments section of this video and I will do my best to answer those questions next Wednesday. So without further ado, let's get on with this week's Waffle on a Wednesday. Now you all know I love a quick question, so let's start off with just that, and this comes from Jimmy Gray. Hi buddy, Crazy Grays here. Do you ever meet people who object to your lifestyle, and how do you handle them? Well, to answer that question, as most of you know, I do live full-time in my van. Although, I don't actually spend my life on the road travelling up and down the country. I actually spend a majority of my time sat on Rebecca and Bob's driveway. But when I do get out and about, I do get the occasional person that shows an interest in my van. And when I tell them I actually live full-time in my van, 99% of the time I'm greeted with, "Wow, that's amazing, that's fantastic, what a great lifestyle," and they show a great interest. But on the rare occasion, I do actually get the odd individual that will actually show concern for my welfare, and they ask me, how can I live in such a small confined space? To which I explain, I don't actually live in my van, I live out of my van. It's all about your mental attitude, and I do this purely by choice. I mean, sure, I could go and get a full-time job and then rent an apartment somewhere, but I really do object to working full-time just to pay rent. And living the lifestyle that I do live offers me the opportunity to have a certain amount of freedom and a lot of free time, which gives me time to make these videos and occasionally, like I say, go off on my treasure hunting adventures. And when I explain this to people, the usual response is very positive and sometimes quite envious. So no, I've never had anyone actually object to me living the way I live in my camper van. Thanks for the great question. And if you are thinking of moving into your van full time, I'd highly recommend giving it a go for at least a month or two before you give up your bricks and mortar to find out if it's a lifestyle that you can adapt to. There are certain discomforts you have to endure, and it is certainly a big learning curve. But like I say, once you get over that hurdle and change your mindset that you're living out of your van rather than in your van, you'll be golden and living a life a lot freer than you would be if you were paying rent to live somewhere. Thanks for the quick question. Sorry for the long answer. Now, talking about working full-time for a living just so that you can pay rent, Dude Lebroski asks, Mel, is being a trucker a good earner? Well, Dude Lebroski, yes, absolutely, it can be quite a good career. But it is exactly that, it is a career, and I would suggest to anyone who's thinking about becoming a truck driver to start off taking baby steps by first getting a job driving a delivery van, and once you've done that for a couple of months and you still like it, then carry on and progress up the ladder. Start off by driving bigger and bigger vehicles a stage at a time. As your experience grows with driving bigger vehicles, then so will your confidence, and eventually you will end up driving a huge articulated lorry. And when you get to that point, that's when you start earning some decent money. But along with that comes a lot of stress as well, and you will most likely start off working for driving agencies, which don't offer the best kind of pay, but they certainly offer you the best kind of freedom, which is what I used to do. I had a HGV Class 1 licence and I never actually had a permanent job. I always drove for agencies. That way I could drive for a driving agency during the winter and have all summer off. And also the other benefit of working for an agency is that you can have longer holidays. But just bear in mind, you don't get paid for those holidays like you would if you had a regular job working for a company full time. There's a lot of different avenues you can go down, and if you want to jump straight into driving HG, I would highly recommend getting your Class 2 licence first and then going and find a good driving agency to work for. But again, just bear in mind you will be getting all the not so desirable jobs doing that. But if by some chance you end up working through an agency for another company, that company, if they like you, they will take you on permanently. And I know some drivers that have done exactly that. They've they've got their Class 2 licence, got their foot in the door with a big company via an agency, and then that company takes them on full time, and if they step up to the bar, that company will actually pay for you to go and have your Class 1 training so that you can become a Class 1 driver. There are many different career paths you can go down, but at the end of the day it is a good career, and as long as you keep your licence clean, you should never really be out of work. Good luck if that's something you decide to do. Now here's an actual question about my van, and this comes from My World My Way Helen, and she asks, what made you call your van Mary? Sounds quite old-fashioned name, unusual as well. I think my auntie was called Mary. Well Helen, the reason I named my van Mary is because of my log burner. When I first lit my log burner, the song from Tina Turner came into my mind, Proud Mary, and I could hear the lyrics going over my head, Proud Mary keeps on burning, big wheels keep on turning. So that's where I got the name. It's because of my log burner I named my van Mary. So let's hope Mary's big wheels keep on turning and my log burner keeps on burning. Thanks for the great question. Hi Mel, just wondering what network you use. How have you found it on your travels? Great vlogs by the way. And that comes from Stuart Boys. Well thank you Stuart, and thanks for the great question. I actually use two networks. I use EE on my router, which is behind my cupboard up here, and I use Free on my phone. And the reason I use two networks is in the hope that if I don't have a good signal on one network, say my phone for instance, I will have a better signal on my EE network. And I have to say, so far, EE has never let me down, whereas Free can be a little bit sketchy. And as a side note, I have unlimited Wi-Fi on my phone and I have unlimited Wi-Fi on my router as well. And again, in the hope that I never have to struggle to upload these videos for your enjoyment. Thank you for the great question. Are you a van lifer, Mel, or just a mush that lives in a van to save cash? Do you go on any trips? And that comes from Benny Stokes. Well Benny, yes, you're absolutely right, you hit the nail on the head. I am a mush that lives in his van full time to save cash. So if you want to call me a van lifer, then I really don't mind. But it's more than just saving cash, it also gives me more free time. Time to do the things that I enjoy to do, such as making these videos for your entertainment. And I do hope you find my videos entertaining, and if you do, then don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, then please do consider subscribing. I really do appreciate your support. And it's your support and encouragement that allows me to occasionally go off travelling. So make sure you do subscribe, that way you won't miss when I upload a video doing exactly that. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to plug my channel. And thanks for the great question. Now Tina Hart asks, hello Mel, here's a question for your waffle on a Wednesday. I loved watching your spring clean video. I have never had a shower at a service station before. I highly recommend it, Tina. You mentioned you have to give your keys over in some service stations, but do you have to have a large van, a small camper? Also, where do you go to get the keys from? Is there a management office or somewhere like that? Also, how do you find out what service stations have shower facilities? I'm so pleased Mary got a scrub up and so did you. I love all your tips, including the location outside washing machines, and I will try the burrito methods when I next change my duvet. So many great ideas, thanks. Well thank you Tina, that's very kind of you. You're absolutely right, I did mention in that video that occasionally you do have to give over your keys to use showers facilities in a service station, and if that's the case there will be a sign on the door telling you where to go and get a key for the shower, and in most cases it will be in one of the shops. For instance, a service station that I used to use quite regular in Kent, you had to go into WH Smith's and hand over your keys to the checkout clerk, who then would give you a key to one of the shower blocks. Your key would then go into a tub with a number on it which relates to the number of the shower that you're going to use. And when you finished having a shower, you would then lock the door behind you, go back to WH Smith's and retrieve your vehicle key for the shower key. Now, talking about vehicles, it really doesn't matter what vehicle you drive into a service station, you're still allowed to use the shower. Those showers are there for the general public and also for truckers. But like I said in my last video, just bear in mind that there are a lot of truckers that do rely on those showers. So keep your time in there to a minimum. Enjoy your shower, but be as quick as you can. Just bear in mind there may be a busy truck driver waiting to have a shower. And as for finding out what service stations have those shower facilities, I think you'll find that most service stations on most of the motorways in the UK do actually have shower facilities. But a way to check is just to simply look online. Or a really simple and quick way to find a service station with shower facilities is to get a trucker's atlas, just like I mentioned last Wednesday. Thanks for the great question and thank you for all your encouragement. I really do appreciate it. Now, once again, it's the moment you've all been waiting for, and that is this week's Troll of the Week. Roll the intro.
Troll of the Week.
And this week's trolling comment was left on a video that I made a couple of weeks ago, all about is van life sustainable in the UK? And this was left by Camo Guy. Van life in the UK is completely possible if people stay off of YouTube and social media. Stop publishing van life videos. Live off the grid stealthily. Oh, by the way, your son's windows at the front are completely illegal. I'm sorry, but I will continue to make videos on YouTube all about van life and all about my adventures, purely to encourage everybody else to give it a go. After all, that's what my channel is all about. And as for my son's front windows in his van, I must admit they do look rather dark on camera, but in actual reality they don't look that dark. So I very much doubt if they are illegal. But thank you for your concern anyway. I'll be sure to let my son know. Hi Mel, well done on another great video. Have you got an inverter in your van for 230 volts? If not, have you ever had one or ever thought about having one? Would love to hear your thoughts about this. And that comes from Barry Garnett. Well Barry, I don't actually have an inverter in my van per se, but I am lucky enough to have a Jackery power pack which was given to me by Jackery. One of the benefits of being a YouTuber talking about van life. So for that simple reason, I didn't need to actually buy an inverter. But if Jackery hadn't have given me that power pack, then I have no doubt that I would have actually fitted an inverter to my van. But I have to say, over time, I've realised that having a Jackery power pack is certainly a useful tool to have in the van. Especially just recently when I've been experimenting using 240 volt on various cooking appliances. Because if I flatten my Jackery power pack, it doesn't really matter, whereas if I flattened my main battery bank using 240 volt, it would become a real big problem. But because I've got two separate power sources now, it really does give me peace of mind knowing that I can use my 240 volt without running the risk of flattening my main battery bank. But I will go into more detail about that in a later video, because at the moment I am experimenting using different cooking appliances to find out which one is the best for van life. And I will be making a video about that very soon. Thanks for the great question. So here's another battery related question, and this comes from Chris Tate. Hi Mel, I know you like a quick question. Yes we do, we love a quick question. So here's one. Would it be okay to join a brand new 130 amp hour battery to a used 130 amp hour battery? I know it's ideal to have two new ones, but would the performance not be as good? And would the older one drain faster than the new one? Cheers mate. Well Chris, it just so happens a couple of months ago I did exactly that. I used to have two 110 amp hour AGM batteries, and I got in touch with Alpha Batteries and asked them if it would be okay to add another two to my current battery bank, and they assured me that as long as my batteries weren't over a year old, it would be perfectly fine. So I guess the answer is it really does depend on how old your current battery is before you add a new one to it. If I was you, I would give Alpha Batteries a quick call and ask them for their opinion. After all, they are the experts in that field. I will leave a link to their website down below for your convenience. Good luck, I hope it works out for you. Thanks for the quick question. Now here's something really important. If you enjoy my content, then let YouTube know by giving this video a thumbs up. hit that like button, and if you are new here then please do consider subscribing, and I'll see you very soon. Thanks for watching, ta-ra for now.